Hello, San Francisco, and welcome once again to the Angelic Troublemakers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and on today's program, keep your eyes on Proposition I. On Monday, I was at the San Francisco Department of Elections because they were selecting letters for this June's uh, propositions and measures for the June 5 election. And my proposition, uh, relocation of professional sports teams, was designated letter I. I'm going to describe briefly a little bit about how I think we should keep an eye on Proposition I. And in support of my measure, which it's supposed to be a declaration of policy, but in actuality, it's an apology. It's an apology where San Francisco voters, I'm asking San Francisco voters to apologize to the city of Oakland for the actions of San Francisco City Hall. That's what the ballot measure is. There's some other stuff into it, which we will discuss, but that is what the proposition is about. It's an apology. And it's an end around, don't tell anybody, to what I wanted to do originally. And I must say that this particular ballot measure, by you voting yes on Proposition I, will help my cause. Now, I have to say that though this is the first time for me doing something like this, it's been challenging, entertaining, stressful, um, but overall, I like it. I like the whole process. I am a person who believes that apathy is the biggest sin committed against democracy. In other words, a don't care attitude about voting is a sin, is the way I see it. Because a lot of the things that we come across uh, in life in America is shaped by policy, whether it's elected officials or, as our Constitution um, says, we the people can change things that we think are wrong that our government has established a law for. And so, moving to what this is, if I could bring up my website here, it's goodneighborcoalition.org. And if you go to the website and you click on uh, my Keep Your Eyes on Proposition I, it will tell you exactly what this ballot measure uh, does in the description here. What a yes vote or a no vote will mean. A no vote is basically keeping things to the same. And these two gentlemen pictured here, Matthew, the black gentleman on the left, and Gregory, who's shaking up the jars where the ballot measures were selected from to get their letter designation on in the center here. Um, I can't tell you how much these two gentlemen really went beyond the call of duty to help me in my process. Now, I will say that though I praise them, uh, there's not too much praise coming from me towards anything City Hall. But I have to say, uh, these gentlemen or the Department of Elections has been great for me. Now, in this process, I have to back up a little bit because I learned that different organizations throughout the city who do what is called endorsement uh, Q&As or interviews contacted me about my measure once they found out that it was, you know, on the ballot. And I've probably been invited to 8 of them, and I've so far attended 5. There are 3 upcoming. And these are different political action committees throughout the city. And they're just saying, if you want our endorsement, come on down, tell us what the measure is about, in my case, and we'll see if we can endorse it. Well, I really thought, hey, this is exciting. So I decided to attend these. Then I realized, some of them are so slanted politically that they were not going to give me the benefit of the doubt. And I have to recall a situation. Well, there's 2. And one of them I'm going to bring up on my computer here has to do with where is it? Okay, it's coming up. Hey, that's not it. Well, you know how that works, people. Whenever you want something, you can't find it. Ah, this is what I'm looking for. I pressed the wrong button. This is the letter that started everything. What is it? The late Mayor Ed Lee sent a letter to the Golden State Warriors. And in this letter, he set out one page basically to tell the team, hey, come over here. Look at this property that we have. When the owners were looking for a new arena. On this page of the letter, 2 and 3, there are 20 names of elected officials, starting with Mayor Ed Lee at the time, and 19 other prominent political and business figures in San Francisco. Well, when I decided to do my little old presentation at one of these events, I was surprised. Why was I surprised? Because one of the people who signed that letter was in the room when I was giving my presentation. And I feel that if people are going to be upfront about trying to endorse or whatever you should at least know that the people who started this process in bringing the warriors here who signed that letter would have the decency to say, well, I'm going to bow out because I was one of the people who signed the original letter that invited the warriors to come here. Well, you think that's going to happen? No. In fact, that person asked me a question uh, in the Q&A, and I shut him up with my answer, but that's another story. But my problem was also in the room was another member of this committee who's going to vote on whether to endorse my measure or not. Well, this person, you think they're going to say, I'm going to bow out respectfully because I have history with Mr. Jones? No. This person was the chairperson of a commission in San Francisco. And I had an issue with this particular commission on an unrelated thing to politics. Well, somewhat. And so, because I had this problem, there's two people in the room that I know are big voices, and they may influence the others. Well, that don't seem right. Then I had another problem with another political action committee. Have you heard of San Francisco Women's Political Committee? Well, they've been around for 16 years. And if you go on their website, I'm not going to pull up their website, but if you go on their website, you will find that these women support everything woman. I don't have an objection with that. However, when you support everything that relates to women, they think that there can't be enough women in charge. In other words, the more the merrier. On their website, they talk about how they promote all of these various women issues, and they say we don't care what party they're with. We just believe women are it. When it comes to leadership, women, women, women. I get that. But then I described to them my ballot measure. And in my ballot measure, I told these women that the city of San Francisco is trying to be a party to the Golden State Warriors skipping out on a bill to Oakland and Alameda County. This bill is a $40 million debt that the Warriors, under old ownership, agreed to pay for the upgrades to Oracle Arena. Well, by the time the Warriors are planning on moving out of Oracle, that bill will not be paid off in full. So what is left behind is $40 million estimated in bills. Well, it is my personal opinion that San Franciscans do not dine and dash. I could be wrong, but I do not believe that San Francisco would condone the Warriors moving 11 miles to San Francisco from their current home just to make gobs of money and stiff Oakland in the process by moving 11 miles, sticking them, saying, you pay that $40 million deal bill yourself. I just don't believe that San Franciscans will accept that. Then factor in this. Let's say San Francisco, uh, I mean, Oakland has to pay that bill. The Warriors win in an unscheduled or upcoming arbitration hearing. Let's say they prevail. Maybe they should prevail. Let's say they do, and Oakland is left on the hook. Well, then that leaves it upon the mayor of Oakland to cut services because this bill has to be paid. And so, if even a portion of the bill is said to the Warriors and not the full amount, still, services are going to be cut so they can pay off this debt, which I think goes until 2026. Well, the mayor of Oakland is a woman, Libby Schaaf. Now, if this women's group is so much in support of women, why did they tell me 48 hours after our meeting, we have a no recommendation going to the full membership from the committee, the full membership on this ballot measure? If you're so in support of women, why are you going to make it hard for a woman to do her job as mayor of Oakland? It don't make any sense to me. I think it's hypocritical, and I called them on it. And so when I called them on it, they gave me, well, if we bring it to the full membership and they decide to support your ballot measure, we, meaning the committee, will support it also. Well, that's not good enough for me. And the reason why is it's as plain as day that the Warriors are planning on skipping out on a bill. And if they're planning on skipping out on a bill and you, the committee, are recommending not taking a position on that, please, give me a break. How dumb do you think I am? And if you say that you're all for women and you can't make that little bit of math, you don't have to ever worry about me coming before the San Francisco Women's Political Committee and asking for their endorsement when I realize these people are hypocrites. Now, if you didn't understand it, or you thought that it was just a sports thing, well, just say so. But I'm saying that too many times these political action committees, which I understand have something, that they're pushing. And so for them to push a certain issue, hey, it makes total sense to me. But to be so biased or to be so, what's the term? Well, let me just say it this way. If you don't know the issue, say, we don't know the issue. Because the fact is, you can't tell me that this is based on the $40 million debt, leaving it to Libby Schaaf. I think there's something else going on here. I think that these women don't want to criticize City Hall San Francisco too harshly. Why? One of the the head of the committee works for one of the supervisors here. Well, was I going to get a fair shake when I know that the head of this particular committee works on the campaign of one of the supervisors here? Please. Now, that rubs me the wrong way. And so, what I'm basically saying, if there's going to be more of this going on, why would I want to be a party of it? I mean, let them do their own work. If they want to support a particular measure, hey, go right ahead. Now, I have committed to 2 or 3 others, and I will probably attend them. But believe me, I'm getting out of the looking for endorsement help from these committees and these groups, because I see the writing on the wall. And though they may represent an awful lot of people, some of them, they're not worth the time. Now, I did go to the Sierra Club. Even if the Sierra Club rejects it, I have a lot of respect for the Sierra Club. I don't know the Sierra Club, but I read a letter. And I read a letter that they wrote in opposition to this Warriors Arena project. And the letter was so sound. These people really brought up reasonable questions. Now, this was 3 years ago. Well, guess what happened? Just recently, the 2 things that are bogging down the transportation issues on this Warriors Arena project have come up with real problems connecting at the time that they claimed that they would. And 2 years behind schedule, $6 million over budget. Sierra Club saw that coming years ago. I saw it coming years ago. I knew that it was an afterthought to try and make the transportation issue line up at the time that they wanted to build this arena. But the way the Sierra Club laid it out, these people, they do their homework. And even if somebody does their homework and they don't agree with you, I can accept that. But these ladies, I don't think they did their homework. And scared to support something because they didn't understand it. Now, believe me, you can't get a full definition of what I'm proposing in a 5-minute Q&A. But that's all that was given to me and everybody else. That's the way these things go. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to the drawing board, and I'm telling you that I am going to stick to what I know. And what do I know? I know that this arena will never see completion. And why do I know this? I know it because it's not right. And I believe that God has blessed me with all of the right people to make sure that San Francisco is clear that the Golden State Warriors Arena project is going to turn out to be the biggest mistake San Francisco has ever made in its history, and we will stop that from happening. Because you can't convince me that building an 18,000 seat arena across the street from an emergency room hospital, children's hospital no less, has no problems at all. When we called our organization Good Neighbor Coalition, we called it that because San Francisco, I found out, has a good neighbor policy. The Entertainment Commission of San Francisco has a detailed entertainment commission, entertainment policy or whatever you call it, and it's a good neighbor policy that is so well thought out, could be a little stronger, but it has something in it that says this is how you should act around your neighbors. Well, when you look at it, the policy, the San Francisco policy, and what the Warriors are bringing to San Francisco, hey, I think they should stay in Oakland. But the worst place for them to come in San Francisco is right next to a hospital. And I'm saying that the Good Neighbor Coalition and the Good Neighbor policy are clear. You ain't gonna have good neighbors with a hospital and a basketball arena. The offender is gonna always be the arena. When will the hospital not be responsible, or when will the hospital be in the wrong? When they stop accepting patients from the arena. Well, you know that ain't gonna happen. I'm just being, facetious here. But the fact of the matter is the hospital, a quiet zone historically, is gonna have to deal with a whole bunch of noise, especially when the Warriors win future championships here. They're going to be drunk people, and people are saying, well, we didn't know that this could be such a problem. Oh, yes, you did. You just ignored it because you were so greedy and determined, you didn't care about all of the problems that could come up. Let me end with this little old bit of information. When the Warriors tried to build on the water, the Embarcadero, they were scared away. Why? Because somebody realized, oh no, building on the water, you'll block the view. So there was a project called 8 Washington. And this project, 8 Washington, they got some people together. And they said, no, you're not going to block the water. And they won when they took that argument to the voters. Well, what San Francisco City Hall is trying to get you to believe now is that no, we don't want you to block the water, but you can block traffic to a hospital that has an emergency room. Are you going to fall for that scam of an explanation? Until next time, God bless.